Okay, we've got a 2007 Mini Cooper. I'm going to take the summer tires off and put some winters on. So I've got the 4 studded snows over here. They're all Nokian Hakkapeliittas. They've been aired up already. So what I'm going to do first, Mini Cooper is so short and so stiff, you can actually jack up one side and get both wheels at the same time. So I'm just going to crack these nuts loose. That's a tight one. So I'm going up to the front jacking point. Okay, so now front wheel's off the ground, and so is the back one. Piece of chalk here. This one's getting marked left front for next spring, so I know to rotate.
Do I have it like a copper brush?
Yeah, just a little brash brush. Yeah. I actually like to take this car skiing, especially if I'm going by myself. It's the best mileage, and the studs. It's an incredible winter car with just snow tires alone, but with studs on it, it's really great. And my driveway hits 12 to 14%. These aren't as rusty as the other side for whatever reason. Challenge. Nokian Hakkapeliitta 10. This is the best snow tire I've ever driven. You can see these pretty new. It's got a ton of sipes, ton of studs. The studs in the middle are a different shape than the studs on the side. For traction and for steering, you've got wear bars here, 4, 6, and so you can tell how much tire tread's left as well in terms of how effective it is in the winter. Same thing, brake pads, pretty much brand new, and struts are fine too. So. This one's coming off the left rear. I'll mark that. Left rear.
So what are you doing here?
I'm just taking some of the rust out of the hub threads. I mean, some people put lube on them. I don't like to lube lug nuts, but I don't like a ton of rust in there either. But so I just wire brush those, wire brush that.
When you put the bolts in, is there any kind of special way to start?
It's a 4-bolt pattern, so you just do opposite. And this gets them pretty tight, but when I drop it to the ground, I'll use the torque wrench and torque them to spec. So, one down. There we go.
And before you do all this, do you put it in first gear, second gear, put the emergency brake on?
This is an automatic, so it's in park, and the emergency brake is set. The winter tires are on 15-inch rims. They're what the Cooper crowd calls 7 holies, because they have 7 holes and they're super light. I think they might be only like 12 or 14 pounds, and that lets you run a narrower and a higher profile winter tire, which I think gives better traction. So the front tire's off. You can see why they call them 7 holies. They're super light, lightest rim that Mini's ever made. A lot of people love them for autocross, and you can feel the difference. The rotational weight is so light. It really, I think, helps gas mileage wise when you're pushing colder temperatures and through snow and stuff. But it's a great tire. Nokian, best snow tires you can buy. Yeah, where I live in Colorado, the road to our hill has a snow tires mandatory October through May. And this year we got what, 12, 15, maybe 18 inches of snow the first week of November. So you definitely needed it to get a lot of people in the ditch who are trying to get to town to get their snow tires put on. Every time I buy a car, I always go on eBay or Craigslist and buy a second set of wheel rims. I got these 4 7-holies for $100, $25 a rim. Originally, when we got this car for my daughter. So, you know, if you're swapping tires and getting them mounted and remounted down at the tire store, it takes a lot of time in the spring and in the fall, and you can damage your beads and whatever. And a lot of stores won't touch a tire that's older than 7 years from manufacture date. For legal reasons, for whatever, so it's a total pain. But if you've got them mounted, you can swap them yourself, or you can take them down and have them do it, and it's quicker. But it's, I think, a lot easier on your tires, and that way, if you ever do need a spare for a long trip, instead of taking the partial size spare that's underneath the back of this Mini Cooper, you've got a full-size tire that may not match, but it's still better than nothing. My first Mini Cooper S did not have a spare tire at all because the battery was in the rear, because the engine had a supercharger and intercooler up front, so there was no space for it. So if you wanted a spare, you had to take it with you. But having 8 tires is great. In fact, my first Mini, I had 12 tires. I had a set of track tires and track brake pads, and with the car being so stiff, I could change 2 tires and change out the front brake pads in 20 minutes when I got to the track. So I was really quick with it. And then at the end of the day, I'd jack it up, swap back to street brakes, and put the summer tires to get home. Save the track rubber for the track. So easy car to work on, great car, durable. This one's got 100,000+ on it. It's a 2007. We bought it used with maybe 15,000 on it. And I got my daughter through colleges and up until she had a couple babies, and kind of hard to put 2 car seats and 2 kids in the back of a Mini Cooper. But for 1 or 2 people, and I like to ski, I'll just put a bungee cord across the headrests and put my skis in the back, and just have them hanging in the bungee cord kind of tight in the car, so I don't even have to have anything on the top. Just wrap them up nice, so if you did slam on the brakes, your skis don't go forward and break your windshield. That's the only thing you got to be careful about, but I've never had that issue. Great car, great tires. Nokian, Finland, knows what they're doing. In fact, on the Toyota, when I need new tires, Nokian's got a new tire made in the US. They call it the Outpost NAT. It's a North American all-terrain, and I'll be going to that because it's a great rated winter tire, but it's also a summer tire, a little more gnarly. But these Laufens did awesome this week in some big snow up some nasty driveways when I was going to help people get their UTVs plows mounted or their snow blowers fixed or whatever. But you can't help but have good tires living where we live. And in fact, if you go on I-70 west of Denver, you've got to have chains in your vehicle, even if you have snow tires and 4-wheel drive. So if they put the chain law in effect, doesn't matter, you better have chains in your car. You could risk a ticket. Now this car, 1 year with studded snows on the front, got over Berthoud Pass 90 days when my daughter was working at the Winter Park handicap skier program. And so she went up over Berthoud Pass, which is what, 10, 11,000 feet, something like that. Steep, some hairpins, whatever, but she never got stuck. She passed a lot of SUVs and 4-wheel drivers all the time, and they looked at it like, what the heck is that car running? So studs on a Mini or most front-wheel drive cars, especially narrower studs, work incredibly well. I think I've put 1,250,000 miles on front-wheel drive cars since I moved to Colorado, and I've only been stuck once, and that was in my driveway when there was about 14 inches of snow and I got lifted off the ground. So once I shoveled it out and took a little bit off the height, I guess I deserved getting stuck on 14 inches with 6 inches of ground clearance, but had to try it anyway. No worries. All right, thank you.
Cool.
All right.